We got this list here with the top 50 best Weeknd songs from Rolling Stone. From dark alt R&B jams to sleek summer hits to synth pop revelations and beyond. Okay. By Tomas Mier, Weiss David Aramesh, Julissa Lopez, Charles Aaron, Angie Martocchio, Elias Late, John Freeman, Mosi Reeves, John Blistein, Sarah Grant, Joe Gross, Simon Vozick Levinson, John Dolan, and Corey Grow. Alright, let's jump into it. If you had Susie and the Banshees fan from Canada remakes R&B in his own image on your pop music in the 2010s bingo card, congratulations. Abel Tesfaye came out of Toronto in 2011 with a stunning series of spacey, sepulchral EPs that proved the start of a landmark run. Pretty soon he was lacing summer hits, sharing tracks with Ariana and Lana, creating epic albums like After Hours and this year's excellent Dawn FM, and even playing the Super Bowl. To coincide with the release of his new Amazon special, The Weeknd X The Dawn FM Experience, available this Saturday, we have decided to honor The Weeknd's decade of moody pop dominance with our list of his 50 greatest songs. You've earned it. Alright, let's jump into it with number 50, which is Pretty from Kissland. It's a pretty good pick. Yeah, I do love me some Kissland, so happy to see some representation here. It's not one of my favorite songs on the project, but still pretty damn great. One of The Weeknd's cooler, earlier tricks is the goth level of melodrama with which he infuses work. Pretty, from his debut full-length Kissland, takes an industrial level of synth dread and drum clatter and sets it to the time-honored tale of the road dog coming home to his partner, who may or may not have cheated. Conclusion: he'll make you feel beautiful, if only because it makes you keep the demons at bay. Okay, The Fall, good pick. I'm guessing some of the more popular tracks will be higher up, but we got some good ones so far. The foggy darkness of The Fall is a vintage remnant of The Weeknd's bleakest, most sedated soundscapes. A chugging beat and ominous choir-like vocals nearly drown him out, but his slightly moribund voice continues with the steely resolve of someone who intimately knows rock bottom. And though the production comes from his early aughts mixtape era, it's also ahead of its time, feeling like something that could easily soundtrack a depressing episode of Euphoria. Yeah, that's it, basically. Tears in the Rain, okay, that's another Kissland pick. Love that. The Weeknd's R&B plot twists as falsetto croon, cunning production, and vulnerable charisma offer a tender caress until you find out that love is really a serial killer hiding in the closet. Inspired by the replicant Roy Batty's dying monologue in Blade Runner, this gorgeous ballad is a spectacular bell tower of distorted guitar and rippling synths that gives you goosebumps. Too bad you're lying next to the toilet. I don't know what the fuck that means, but fuck it. Okay, this is a feature. I've not heard this, but okay. La Fama, Rosalia, featuring The Weeknd. Call him El Fin de Semana. The singer takes a complete turn from his typical R&B style as he joins Rosalia on the electro bachata track about the downsides of fame. The Weeknd sings in perfect Spanish as his vocals channel the likes of bachata legend Romeo Santos. Yeah, I don't love features being on this, but fuck it. Okay, Coming Down, that's an interesting pick. Not one of my favorites off House of Balloons, but yeah, still pretty fucking great song. Emerging from the dusted carnage of the party and the after party, this might be Tesfaye's most emotionally resonant performance. A cold wind blows past a twinkly, taunting mini motif as various intoxicating agents exit his system. Racked with regret, he convincingly plays a fallen prince. His ahs, la la la's, and refrain of "I always want you" coming down are acutely relatable. Alright. To number 45 with Prisoner featuring Lana Del Rey from Beauty Behind the Madness. That's a good pick. This criminally underrated duet is a true relic of the fleeting 50 Shades of Grey era of 2010's gloom pop, sung and co-written by the genre's foremost falsettos, The Weeknd and Lana Del Rey. I've inspired her, she's inspired me, Tesfaye said at the time. I feel like we've always been talking to each other through our music. Together for the first time, they sing, "I'm addicted to a life that's empty and cold, like two dark souls twisting in the wind." Alright, not a bad pick. Okay, we got Kissland. I would put this a bit higher, the title track from the album, but happy to see it here. Perhaps The Weeknd was worried his major label debut wouldn't be perceived as authentically malevolent. The title track settles that. A disorienting din of post-industrial drone and moan, plus oral sex quips and a witchy brew of booze, blow, and pills. Cloud rap producer Silky Johnson sustains a K-hole of suspense, so when Tesfaye cries, "God damn, I'm high," it's actually startling. Alright. Then we got In the Night. It's interesting seeing it that low, because I do like the song, like, not as much as other hits from Beauty Behind the Madness, but this one was pretty popular. The first song co-written with pop magus Max Martin, In the Night conjures an 80s neon rain cloud with a whoosh of drum pads, pulsing synths, clattering effects, and Vision Quest pathos. Principally, it coaxes Tesfaye's most open-hearted vocal to date. His taut yet fluid phrasing, a nod to Thriller-era Michael Jackson, delivers the story of an abused sex worker with an unusually sincere ache. Alright. Then we got Moth to a Flame, again, with like the features, like, I actually haven't heard this song, so we'll see. Moth to a Flame is a petty anthem masking the bitterness with synth and marks The Weeknd's first of hopefully many collaborations with Swedish House Mafia. Abel's vocals shine through a biting chorus that effectively ruins the current relationship with his ex. It should come as no surprise that a list of The Weeknd's best songs doubles as a masterclass in toxicity. Alright. I know that is on. No. Fuck off, ad. Now we got Crew Love, another feature. The remarkable opening of Crew Love is a true test for The Weeknd, pitting the singer's siren call against a callous, punishing opponent, a mash of crashing cymbals that seems intent on crushing the life out of anything in his path. But The Weeknd's sweet croon partially camouflages his own militance. His opening line is every bit as cruel and cunning as those cymbals. "Take your nose off my keyboard, what you bothering me for?" And once The Weeknd puts his enemies on their heels, he presses his attack. This ain't no fucking sing-along. He snarls prettily, "So girl, what you singing for?" Yeah, great song, but again, not sure how I feel about features being on this list, but it is basically a Weeknd song. It's on Drake's album. It is probably my favorite song collaboration between the two. And then number 40, we got Acquainted, another hit from Beauty Behind the Madness. Another one that's like pretty low, but still. Oh, the humanity. On this neoclassic Weeknd tale of compulsive wanderlust, boosted by Elangelo's crisply cavernous dubstep-tinged production, Tesfaye coos and even cries out with new vulnerability about whether there's a commitment to real love. Life might be a risk worth taking. Answer, no, but girl, I'm so glad we're acquainted. Okay. Oh, King of the Fall. Fuck yeah, that's a classic. Released as a SoundCloud track and a YouTube video in commemoration of his 2014 King of the Fall tour. This is a fan favorite that didn't get added to streaming services until nearly 6 years later, unfortunately. It finds The Weeknd at his most insouciantly boastful, about to leave the crib with a couple of my pirates, driving by the streets we used to walk through like a triumph, he sings. This was help from Jason DeHila Quenneville. King of the Fall is a trilling, uncompromising edge when he says, "If you ain't with me, motherfucker, you're against me." You can feel the tension in his words. Ain't nobody can stop me. Yeah, it's a great fucking song. I honestly would be top 5 on Beauty Behind the Madness if you ask me. Like, I really wish this was on that album. I don't know why it wasn't, but shit, I don't know. Let me get some water before I continue. Alright. Now let's go back to number 38, Heartless. The first single from the 2020 album After Hours finds our hero self-consciously returning to his baller ways, grabbing some of his pals, co-writers Metro Boomin, Alangelo, and Dre Moon, loading up on subdernal bass and trapping hi-hats and heading out for a night of licking toads, getting ladies high, and spilling whiskey on himself. Once again, he's in full players playing mode and he doesn't make it sound very fun at all. Yeah, this is still to this day probably my favorite track on After Hours, because the song's just a fucking hit. Like, 'cause I'm heartless. Yeah, it's fucking banger. 37 is The Birds Part 2. Interesting pick. On The Weeknd's most intense recorded reckoning, our unreliable narrator delivers a harrowing moral. Don't fall for self-obsessed predatory fiends like me, or somebody will suffer forever. Producers Alangelo and Doc McKinney underscore the point. Sobs and a gunshot bleed into reverbed whirlpools of decaying surf guitar, an unforgiving snare thud, and Marina Topley Bird croaking sandpaper kisses, paper cut bliss like Madame Lamort. Then the crows call a bitter adieu. Alright. And another feature track, but a very popular one that price is pretty low, but Love Me Harder. When Republic Records introduced its hot new R&B act to the world, it used an old-fashioned tactic, Trojan Horse, the new-fashioned way, an Ariana Grande song. Produced by Max Martin, Love Me Harder is a coy, synth-driven jam about the joys of rough sex. What takes it to that next level is the indelible way Grande's sumptuous vocals ricochet off The Weeknd's icy falsetto. Two great artists in their own right, but like Pat and Neil, these two just belong together. Yeah, this great fucking song. Probably my favorite Ariana song. Yeah. Imagine they put like the other one ahead. I don't know. 35 is Loft Music, which is my favorite Weeknd song. So, Loft Music is one of Abel Tesfaye's quintessential baby-making moments and a standout from his debut mixtape, House of Balloons. During the chorusless first half of the track, The Weeknd convinced a woman that baby it's okay for them to hook up, while the second half features a haunting 3-minute outro. Hell yeah, classic song. We got that Beach House sample. Adaptation, my favorite Kissland track. So we got some good stuff here. Adaptation is Kissland's most direct tour life lament, essentially Massive Attack featuring The Weeknd, slightly pitch shifted, over a breakbeat loop, an eerie echo chamber, and a gnarled, ghostly sample of the Police's Bring on the Night. Tesfaye explores his vocal range and imagines tipsy young models as vessels of pure uncut love. It all sounds exquisite, but his regret is a false confession. Alright, we got I Was Never There from My Dear Melancholy. I don't love My Dear Melancholy, but not surprised it's on the list. It's appropriate that The Weeknd, at his most publicly distraught after breakups with tabloid damsels Selena Gomez and Bella Hadid, would be soundtracked by elegant techno-brutalist Mike Gesaffelstein-Levy. Hello, stylish dystopia. A piercing synth siren swoons and keens above clackling desolation. When the beat later brightens to a warped gurgle, Tesfaye turns spiteful, suicidal. Call it a safe space. Alright, not a bad pick. Okay, we got In Your Eyes. Surprised that's higher than Heartless, but again, fucking great song. I know it hurts to smile, but you try to. Tesfaye croons to his dirty Diana through the smoky air. Can't you feel the weight of his stare? In Your Eyes has such a suave 80s groove, it takes real concentration to appreciate its manifold layers. Tesfaye mined in late new wave bands like Roxy Music, Aha, and Cocteau Twins for the song's backbone. Let Max Martin do his pop wizardry, and let the sax rip. Alright. Nope. Then we got Privilege from My Dear Melancholy. On this theatrical text to an ex, The Weeknd tries acceptance. Co-producer Frank Duke suspends the mournful Enamorado amid a swell of supportively filtered keys, and Tesfaye counsels himself to move on. But a finger snap beat enters, and he instinctively reaches for his old woes. Synths encase everything, his multi-tracked wail fades to vocoded static, and it's clear. Litigating sin is his one forever love. Alright. Then we got Life of the Party from Thursday. Coming on like Smokey Robinson at a black mass, Tesfaye crooks a finger, howls into the death rock void, and cues the riding crop percussion. Is this just another dubiously consensual orgy between a rich, coked-out female fan and some fame-adjacent, coked-out music bros? Or does the woman actually represent Tesfaye's conflicted feelings about his own career choices? Regardless, be careful out there, kids. Alright, cool seeing that on here. We got Save Your Tears, specifically the one with Ariana Grande, which I don't really listen to singles, so I haven't heard the remix, but the original is a classic. And of course, I did say I didn't think Love Me Harder would be the last Weeknd Ariana Grande collab, but here we go. Just when you think The Weeknd has released a vacuous little earworm of a pop song, he twists the knife. I saw you dancing in a crowded room. You look so happy when I'm not with you, he sings. It would be like if you took Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now and replaced Mickey Thomas with Sade. This Love Forsaken at the Club song wouldn't be anything without Grande. Together their voices are indestructible, which makes this particular song all the more harrowing. Then we got Try Me. Very happy to see this one on here. My favorite My Dear Melancholy track, which The Weeknd sounds alluring on Try Me, a highlight from 2018's My Dear Melancholy. The EP swirls with romantic anguish and the singer's high-profile breakups. Try Me, where he pleads for an ex-girlfriend to come back to him in haunting gauzy tones, is no different. Some listeners speculated that this was his attempt to recapture his House of Balloons era bona fides after the world-conquering Starboy, but when he sings lyrics like "Once you put your pride aside, you know where to find me," he sounds sincere. Okay. Oh, fuck yeah, Wanderlust. Such a good-ass song from Kissland. Wanderlust hinted at the brightly up-tempo 80s-inspired pop that eventually launched The Weeknd to superstardom. Produced with help from Danny Boyle Styles and Dahila, it makes fanciful use of Dutch group Fox the Fox's 1984 synth-pop hit Precious Little Diamond, as The Weeknd pixel a Dolce Vita life that's full of thrills and short on love and commitment. It's a metaphor for the first rush of success and a predictor of bigger fame to come. Oh yeah. And yeah, the last one for the second half is Snow Child. Great after hours track. On a trap chic stroll through the Weeknd's hipster rags to branded Britches story, Moriyama, Coachella, and Mercedes are name-checked. Starboy relies on the lovely lilt of his voice to redeem pop rap groaners like futuristic sex giver Philip K. Dick. And it does, buoyed by a suave whoosh here and chilly wobble there. Alright, and right in the top 25 we got Less Than Zero, which already a fan favorite from Dawn FM, which I do like that one. Can we meet in the middle? The Weeknd offers over the elegant romanticism of Less Than Zero. His despair has rarely sounded so vulnerable, and his need to connect has rarely seemed so genuine as he reaches out further and further with each new ascending keyboard bloop. The result might be as great as Slow Dancin' Treaty. Yeah, good shit. At 24 we got Shameless. This very surprised to see that this high, but it's a fucking amazing song. Probably my favorite non-single from the album. Compared to the slick dance pop found elsewhere on Beauty Behind the Madness, Shameless is an outlier. A stripped-down acoustic ballad that has shades of peak period Seal, Shameless is a triumph of cringe for The Weeknd. I'll always be there for you, girl, I have no shame, he swears to a sometime lover who doesn't want anything from him except the oblivion of a good lay. It's icky, and the slippery, pornographic guitar solo at the end only adds to the feeling of self-loathing sleaze. And, wow, I was not expecting that to be this low, but still, amazing song. I Feel It Coming from Starboy. The stunning closer from Starboy, The Weeknd's Michael Jackson-esque voice flows freely over Daft Punk's retro-futuristic 80s-inspired disco pop production. Lyrically, The Weeknd sheds his lustful approach to sex as he assures the object of his desire that she shouldn't be so afraid of falling in love. Yeah, great fucking song. And 22, we've got After Hours, the title track. If there's a song that captures The Weeknd's determined progression from brooding club lurker to incandescent pop king, it's After Hours, which starts with echoey synth acrobatics from his early releases. A dance beat trickles in slowly, just hints of it at first, and eventually takes over, thrusting The Weeknd closer to the melodic maximalism that swept him up and blasted him to superstardom. Great song, yeah. Oh, 21, we got How Do I Make You Love Me? That's another Dawn FM track. It's interesting, but I do love that one. Takes a lot of skill to make Desperation sound catchy, but The Weeknd barely bats an eye as he combines iridescent synth pop with his urgent pleading falsetto on How Do I Make You Love Me. Just when it seems like he's reached a breaking point, The song becomes a freeform experiment in electro blips and bleeps that seamlessly transitions into Take My Breath, highlighting the tight-knit sonic universe of Dawn FM. Alright. Then number 20, we got Hardest to Love, After Hours Deep Cut, which I love. There's something singular about Hardest to Love. It's drum and bass breakbeat setting it apart from nearly everything else in the Weeknd's catalog, to say nothing of the North American pop charts. It would obviously feel less out of place in the UK. Yet the song doesn't feel like some tossed off genre experiment or blatant play for a new audience. It remains a quintessential Weeknd tune, that distinct drum and bass groove paired perfectly with woozy, weeping willow synths and Tesfaye's heart-melting, self-flagellating vocals. And number 19, we got Call Out My Name, which is, of course, the hit from My Dear Melancholy. After Earned It became a massive commercial success, it's no surprise that The Weeknd returned to the same well a few years later. Call Out My Name is another slow-drip ballad set in 6/8 time. But where Earned It had those peppy strings and uplifting message, girl, you're perfect, you're always worth it, Call Out My Name is desolate and hollowed out, a parched tale of dependency and despair shot through the Weeknd's piercing, anguished wails. I said I didn't feel nothing, baby, but I lied. It sings. I need a little break for a bit. But then 18, we got What You Need, which, of course, the classic from House of Balloons. The Weeknd has said that What You Need is nothing more than a sexy R&B song, but that explanation underplays the kind of emotional power he conjures here. It opens with a loop from Aaliyah's Rock the Boat and centers on a raw and direct entreaty shorn of contemporary R&B gloss. When critics and fans refer to The Weeknd as a generational artist, particularly in his early years, it's due to seductive performances like this. Then 17, we got Sidewalks from Starboy. That's higher than I Feel It Coming. It's choice, but okay. Sidewalks finds The Weeknd rightly recounting his ascent from growing up without a father and experiencing homelessness to the pop mainstream. My flow too sick, Kevin Costner couldn't touch me, he trills in an auto-tuned voice over a guitar-infected Doc McKinney beat. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar responds with a bouncy verse that flips Starboy's theme about prodigious appetites. It wasn't just a random Kendrick Lamar verse, The Weeknd told Beats One's Zane Lowe in 2016. It was something special. I mean, that was a great verse. I do like the song, even though I think it's too short, because I think there could be another Weeknd verse there. Okay, we got The Party and the After Party at number 16. The Party and the After Party not only has a chipmunk sample of Dream Hop Duo's Beach House's Master of None at its center, it also has a waltz-like rhythm reminiscent of the Velvet Underground's All Tomorrow's Parties. The Weeknd's lyrics betray an impressive attention to detail. Louis V bag, tats on your arms, high heel shoes make you 6 feet tall, he croons. But I got what you need. Midway through, the track switches to a highly sexual volley of vocal thrusts and flickering guitar as he tries to illustrate the feeling that I'll give to you. Yeah, I remember hearing this song for the first time and that sample came on. I was like, I gotta listen to this, and that's how I became a Beach House fan. Number 15 is Often, which was the first solo track I heard. The first one I heard was Love Me Harder, but this one's still a classic. Over a tear-jerking sample of Ben Saga Sana Vurgunum by Turkish singer Nükhet Duru, The Weeknd boasts about the sexual freedom he gets by being a young god in his hometown of Toronto. She asked me if I do this every day. I said often. He sings on the chorus. The alt R&B song gave fans their first taste of the leap forward he was making with Beauty Behind the Madness. At number 14, we got Starboy. Damn, like, what's the top 10 gonna look like? Like, it's gotta have Can't Feel My Face in the Hills and shit, I don't know. Let's read more about Starboy though. After the world-conquering success of Beauty Behind the Madness, The Weeknd could have worked with anyone. He chose Daft Punk, who lent an attractive electro gloss to his next chart-topping smash, French filtering his vocals on the hook as he literally laughed his way to the bank. With its winking lyrics about old Star Trek movies and ivory lines on ebony tables, Starboy was also The Weeknd's chance to show that pop stardom hadn't changed him, it just made him even cockier. I gotta Tell Your Friends, interesting choice. I wouldn't have it this high, but it's a really good song. This track was originally co-produced by Mike Dean and intended for Kanye West, who co-produces and raps on the bridge here. Framed by a Cooley Twilight Soul sample, Tesfaye croons a list of basic Starboy gripes, but quickly the lyrics grow belligerent as stabbing piano chords propel an anti-hero eruption. Don't believe the rumors, bitch, I'm still a user, he smirks as if he's a pimp strutting on the ledge. Wow, higher. Oh, this is higher than Starboy. Like, I love this song, but that's surprising. But happy it's here, though. Reminder, number 12. A response to those criticizing his pivot to a mainstream sound after Beauty Behind the Madness, The Weeknd returns to his vibey R&B origins, promising he'll reinvent himself as many times as he wants to. And boy, has he succeeded. Indeed. And now, the last one before then is The Morning, which, honestly, I think this song is overrated, but still really good. Though the first drowsy lines of The Morning masquerade as expected weekend club sleaze, the song is a surprisingly radiant hustler's anthem, catching him at an upbeat moment before the blowback from his late-night debauchery sets in. The electric squeals of a guitar follow him as he builds towards a bursting chorus, and once the peak hits, he sings with the carefree indulgence of someone throwing confetti made of dollar bills in the air. Ain't that the truth? Oh, number 10 is Take My Breath. That's interesting. I mean, great fucking song, but it's very new to have it number 10. Like... And my favorite Dawn FM track is Out of Time, and if that's on the list, especially now, like, I'll be very surprised. It figures that one of The Weeknd's most straightforwardly danceable songs would be about a kink so intense that it can literally cause death. Propelled by the titanic melody of Max Martin and collaborators Belly, Andrea Luigi Tutolo, and Oscar Holter, Take My Breath throbs with the insistent kick drum, funky guitar, and arpeggiated synths of classic Giorgio Moroder. Tesfaye coos soulfully, deploying his upper register while describing a woman who has to indulge a fantasy that sounds a lot like erotic asphyxiation. Bring me close to heaven, babe, she tells him. The extended version on Dawn FM features an instrumental breakdown that shreds Tesfaye's voice into a guttural wall, further blurring the line between ecstasy and horror. And there is number 9, House of Balloons, Glass Table Girls. A fucking amazing song. Like, might be, like, definitely top 5 Weeknd songs for me, because I just love this shit. The second half of this track is one of the most viscerally affecting entries in The Weeknd's whole catalog, as icy and thunderous as an avalanche. He throws himself into the world beyond blotto, faces are blurring, the drunks are getting mean, and the threat of violence fills the air. The Weeknd's voice has always drawn comparisons to Michael Jackson's, but Class Table Girls draws its lineage back to Prince at his most paranoidly perfect. Good shit. And number 8 is Earned It. Great fucking song. Wherein the most sexually explicit songwriter of the Pornhub era makes the lead single for the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack. Earned It, and a very NSFW video introduced perfectly Tesfaye's Silk Sheets vibe to the mainstream ears. Written in D minor, which as Spinal Tap taught us is the saddest key, Earned It is a Grammy-winning chart topper full of strength, severe and seductive, that falsetto, and of course, a love too weird to last. Ain't that the truth? Number 7 is High for This. That's interesting. You wanna be high for this, trills The Weeknd on the opening track of his first career-launching House of Balloons mixtape. It's a perfect introduction to The Weeknd's groundbreaking aesthetic and opiate atmosphere, a sound that hovers between dark wave and bedroom R&B, and endless sensorial delights. Circuit's beat is a synthesized whirl of throbbing stop-start percussion and eerie organ-like keys, all fodder for The Weeknd to red pill his listeners. Open your hand, take a glass, don't be scared, I'm right here. Number 6, we got Can't Feel My Face, but I love it. One of The Weeknd's biggest hits was a dashed-off afterthought. Tesfaye was hanging out with some of his songwriting collaborators, listening to some modern disco-influenced tracks, as he once said, when they all felt the urge to jam. The whole song, 3.5 minutes of R&B-infected pop with a bouncy, beautifully numbing chorus that may or may not be about cocaine, came together in 40 minutes at the end of Tesfaye's Beauty Behind the Madness sessions, and almost didn't make the cut, but Tesfaye believed in the song, which became a #1 hit, and has since been certified 8 times platinum. Great fucking song. Oh my god, there's some Don FM bias on here. Like, number 5 is Gasoline, which, after the title track, which is just an intro, is the first song on Don FM, which, great fucking song, but top 5, like, I mean, I have something to, like, get into later, but still. Tesfaye has always been great at packaging pop thrills and deep despair and vice versa. The nihilistic despair of this Don FM gem is neatly tucked away in the song's gasoline-soaked sheen. Even its darkest lines, from I know you and you won't, I know you won't let me OD to in this game called life we are not free, are barely detectable in the midst of all that new wave euphoria, like The Weeknd had too much fun getting out of cars. Please cover Drive next. That would be something. Number 4 is Escape from LA. Wow, this is like a wild list. Like, I mean, good for them, but 9 years after The Weeknd declared Cali is the mission on the morning, he backtracks on this cautionary tale, revisiting a theme that's prevalent throughout his discography, obsession over the Hollywood lifestyle that's just as strong as his contempt for it. 4 minutes in, the vibe switches, getting somehow darker, and The Weeknd tells the tale of a chrome hearts-clad woman who waits for him to cut his verse before moving on to other activities. Considering how good this song turned out, we appreciate her patience. And then number 3 is Blinding Lights. No pop sound is too dated for The Weeknd to have some fun with. As long as it's got a little sparkle, we'll find a way to use it. Blinding Lights broke chart records by leaning all the way into a synth pop jingle that sounds like a Eurovision contender or a mid-2000s ringtone. singing the hell out of each hook in a vaguely goth accent and daring you to call him Shugi. It's so spectacularly catchy you'll never get the chance. Number 2 is Wicked Game, which is another House of Balloons song. And number 1 is The Hills, I'm guessing. The Weeknd's first single is a sensual, slow-grooving meditation on coming of age, feeling comfortable in your own skin, and grappling with differences between love and lust, but only for tonight. In the space of 5.5 minutes, Tesfaye tells a movie-length story. He's just broken up with his girl, he took out all his cash and spent it on coke and his date, and he just wants to feel like a human being. Bring your love, baby, I could bring my shame, he sings. Bring the drugs, baby, I could bring my pain. I got my heart right here. It's heavy stuff for a pop song, and it established him as an artist who can tackle big problems in a way that makes you want to sing along with him. And number 1 is The Hills. A sound design masterpiece and the quintessential Weeknd hit, with all the pop instincts of his crossover blockbuster era and all the sleaze of self-loathing and of his avant R&B early years. The Hills mesmerizes and rebukes a MIDI-enabled version of Francisco Goya's Satan devouring his son. Tesfaye limps through fame's panopticon before launching into a falsetto war of the spirit. When I'm fucked up, that's the real me, he wails. Somehow, this meticulous spear of muted screams, tolling bells, growly sub-bass, and filter to hell synths reached number 1 and was eventually certified diamond. So yeah, that was the list. Not a terrible list. Like, some of the order is weird, but honestly, like, the order doesn't matter, but yeah, like, honestly, like, given the fact that this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fucking people working on it, yeah, this is, the order here doesn't matter, but there's some good songs on here. Like, if it's, yeah, definitely like the weird shit about like features and stuff, but whatever. Like, definitely listen to all these songs, form your own opinions, and maybe I'll make my own list at some point. And yeah, alright, well, I'm gonna end this now, and I'll have my collection update for January and February up next week, hopefully. So I'll see you then. Alright, bye.